Thank you very much for having me today.
Up here on the front row.
You look great. Yeah.
Well, welcome everyone. We're here to sign House Bill number 175, which is the first piece of a package of bills that are being considered downstairs in the House and the Senate to promote gun safety in the state of Delaware, to address safety in our schools and on our streets. Yesterday I was here and we welcomed the new Mother of the Year. Today we're joined by some serious mothers. We appreciate your mothers who demand action. And as I was welcoming them, they said, "We're mothers and we mean business." And that's great. We all mean business today as we sign this piece of legislation. We also have a family here who's experienced tragedy of a straw purchase that ended up in the death of their loved one. And so while often we talked about legislation as we sign here in a very conceptual way, this is very real for families and for individuals. And we're going to hear from this family in a minute. I want to thank also our members of the Delaware State Police for being here, and law enforcement across our state, Police Chiefs Council and others. We appreciate your being here. Dennis Greenhouse from the Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. We appreciate everything that you're doing. So welcome, and with that I'll turn it over to the two sponsors, Representative Larry Mitchell and Senator Harris McDowell.
Thank you, Governor. This bill I decided to run some time ago deals with straw purchases. And for those of you that don't know what a straw purchase is, basically someone that buys a gun legally and then in turn sells it to someone illegally, someone that can't possess that gun. So one of the ways that we looked at hopefully substantiate this bill even more was we increased the penalties. And we increased it to Class E, which would, I believe it's 0 to 5 at level 5 incarceration. And any subsequent offense, it's a Class C, which is quite a bit more, 15 years. And what we also found out, that a lot of the guns, almost 50% of the guns used in crimes of violence are obtained through straw purchases. Just remember that statistic. And that's something we really have to continue to concentrate on that. I'm happy to have brought this bill forward. Happy to see it signed by the governor today. And I especially want to thank my colleagues in both the House and Senate that supported me on this bill. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to the prime sponsor in the Senate, Senator McDowell.
Thank you, Larry. Larry did a very good job of explaining the bill and what it does. I'm glad he did that. I think there's been some controversy about what gun measures are necessary and what not, but I think everybody can agree that persons who are prohibited by law should be prevented from getting their hands on a gun. And so that's what this bill attempts to try to do, and to close that loophole that allows somebody to avoid the fact that they have been prohibited by law from obtaining a firearm. I hope that as a result of this meeting here today and the governor's effort behind this, that the press will fully press. This is a law that's on the books. I think too many naive and innocent people are urged by bad people to go out and buy a gun for them, and they don't realize that will make them a felon. And so right away one life is harmed, and then the gun's out there to do harm to somebody else. So let's hope that the word gets out very good. Well, thank you. And I'm going to turn it back to the governor to say who's next.
I just like to underscore the point about what we're doing here. We have laws on the books right now that prohibit people from possessing and purchasing firearms. They have a felony, they have a PFA against them. And as a result of that, these are bad guys. They want to get a gun to do harm to somebody else. They get somebody else to buy it for them. That's the straw purchase. And then they make some other transaction. We'll hear how it happened in this particular case, and somebody gets shot in the process. So this increases the penalty to deter that kind of activity. I do want to recognize other members of the General Assembly who support the legislation. We appreciate your being here. Our Majority Leader in the House, Val Longhurst, Senator Hansen, Senator Lopez, Senator Lavelle, Representative Ramon, Representative Briggs King, Representative Hudson, I think behind me. Senator DiCarlo, I hear, is
in the back
there. Thank you all for joining us. With that, I'd like to bring Lisa Summers here. She would come up with her beautiful little daughters and talk a little bit about what happened to her niece, Keyshawn Anderson. You may have read the article in the paper about this particular situation. We appreciate you coming here and making this real for us.
Thank you, Governor. A little less than 2 years ago, my family faced a tragedy that I don't believe any family should have to face. My niece, Keyshawn Anderson, known as Kiki, was murdered just standing outside on the street. Her murder took place through the acts of a straw purchase. The young man who had the weapon had his girlfriend purchase it for him since he was unable to purchase one himself, and in turn this gun ended up in the hands of someone who killed my niece. I believe that there are laws put in place for a reason when it comes to guns, any type of weapon. And if you're prohibited from having a weapon, it is up to us, those ones who legally can, to say no. Because in situations like this, there's a reason that they're asking someone else to purchase these weapons. And you have to think, why are they asking me? Why are they prohibited in the first place? So we as a community have to start coming together to prevent tragedies such as this. As I'm standing here right now, my niece's trial is going on. But we felt it was very important to come here just to thank the governor for one, thank everyone who put the bill in place, and just speak and say that the gun violence has to stop. We have to learn to start taking care of each other and not allowing those who are in a position that will do us harm to be able to do so. Thank you.
Since the moms are here, would you like to say something, please?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hello. Thank you.
I used to be a school teacher. You're supposed to do that.
I'm a school teacher also. I like when my participants participate. On behalf of Moms Demand Action and the Delaware chapter, I thank Governor Carney for this opportunity to be here today and for his clear commitment to common sense gun policies that increase public safety. My name is Sarah Stowens, and I'm the chapter leader for the Delaware chapter of Moms Demand Action. Some of my members are here with me today, but we in the state have about 5,000 supporters. This year, our legislative platform includes 3 common sense gun bills that will also help keep our communities safe. They are House Bill 222, House Bill 300, and House Bill 330. House Bill 222 creates what is commonly known as a lethal violence protection order. Specifically, this bill makes it possible for family members or law enforcement to seek a court order to temporarily remove guns from a person if they pose a risk of using them to harm themselves or others. This life-saving bill can help prevent warning signs from turning into tragedies. House Bill 222 has reasonable safeguards that balance individuals' due process rights with the need to ensure public safety. In so doing, this bill speaks volumes to the fact that Delaware not only believes in, but also takes clear steps to promote responsible gun ownership within our borders. House Bill 300 prohibits the sale of bump stocks. Machine guns have been tightly regulated since the 1930s because of the tremendous harm they can inflict. Federal law that also regulates parts that can convert semi-automatic weapons into machine guns. Still, gun manufacturers have exploited gaps in the law to sell bump stocks and other conversion devices that enable semi-automatic firearms to approach the firing rates of machine guns without technically converting them into a machine gun. These devices are designed to end-run public safety laws while greatly increasing the lethality of semi-automatic firearms. Our safety, however, should not be hindered by those who exploit gaps in our federal laws. House Bill 300 will help close this dangerous gap by prohibiting bump stocks and trigger cranks, two common devices that increase the firing rate of semi-automatic weapons. House Bill 330 would restrict access to firearms by people between the ages of 18 and 20. House Bill 330 will help protect public safety by restricting the sale and transfer of firearms to 18 to 20-year-olds. This is an important step because research shows that youth in this age range commit gun homicides at a rate nearly 4 times greater than adults 21 and older. Importantly, however, this bill also contains reasonable exceptions, including for those serving in the military and law enforcement. In so doing, House Bill 330 balances public safety with the legitimate need for some young people to purchase firearms. The Delaware chapter of Moms Demand Action is hopeful that our legislators will not only give careful consideration to each of these bills, but they will also put public safety first by taking swift action in sending these bills to the governor's desk. We look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you so much.
Moms. Thank you. Before we sign the bill, we also have Dennis Greenhouse, who's leading the coalition against for gun safety. If you would come forward, Dennis.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here today. You know, we never know what crime was prevented, what shooting would not occur because someone was unable to get their hands on a gun because of legislation like this. But every time we make it harder for a person prohibited from getting a gun, we have to believe that we have reduced the chances of another shooting on our streets. And that is something we all can applaud. Every step we take to prevent gun violence in Delaware is a step in the right direction. Every step is meaningful. The Delaware Coalition Against Gun Violence applauds this legislation and the bipartisan support, and I emphasize bipartisan support, it received in the General Assembly. Making our communities safer is a goal that we all can unite behind. Thank you.
So I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank other legislators who support this legislation. I want to thank the moms and the coalition for being here. And lastly, I want to thank law enforcement. Because remember, this is about enforcing the laws that are already on the books. Enforcing straw purchase laws is difficult and time consuming if you think about how you have to track it down and follow the lead, if you will. And so we want to thank all our Delaware State Police, our local law enforcement, and others. So now we're going to sign House Bill 174, sponsored by Representative Mitchell, Senator McDowell, and others. got these little, cute little girls here watching us. We're doing this for you and for your safety. There we go.